Hey, you guys there? Oh, good. I got news for you. We are not alone. Well, I mean, you are not alone. In fact, you have trillions of friends watching this video with you at this very moment. You can think of them as your skin minions, aka a dedicated group of microorganisms that want to help you conquer the world. Or, like, survive. But I mean, conquer the world just sounds so much better. Here's why you're gonna want to take care of them. Yo! What is up? Welcome back to another week of How to Health. My name is Kevin. I run liftandbalance.com, where we take aim at all things health and longevity and do it in an odd, weird, interesting, and highly sarcastic manner. Today, we are geeking out with our skin minions and exploring how this little talked about ecosystem helps modulate not only our health in the here and now, but also as it pertains to the aging process and that longevity thing that we like to talk about so much. And to do that, we are going to start with a quick overview of the skin microbiome, highlighting what exactly these skin minions do. Then review some new and existing data displaying their role in health and longevity. Here's a hint, it's a lot more than you think. And finally, we finish up on why they love when we sweat. Okay, we'll actually conclude with ways to get your skin microbes thriving and vibing. And as a part of that, we'll talk about some super interesting and slightly disgusting facts on what they do with our sweat. And don't worry, I'll talk quick so we can get there faster. First, the creepy crawlers on our skin microbiome. This distinct ecosystem of microorganisms resides in and on top of our largest organ. And yes, if you were unaware, the skin is the largest organ on our body, covering an impressive surface area of approximately 2 square meters, and typically accounting for somewhere around 10% of the average adult's body weight. And get this, when we expand down into the different layers of the skin, the epidermis along with its appendage structures, such as the sweat and sebaceous glands, this extends its total surface area to nearly 25 square meters, making it one of the largest epithelial surfaces for interaction with microbes, right up there with the gut. Whoa, I know. Thus, it's kind of important because it not only plays the critical and obvious role of being our barrier from the outside world, it also plays the role as a dormitory for trillions of microbes that want to further their microbe education. Studious microbes, you don't say. Providing the grounds for around 8,000 different bacterial species and up to 80 species of fungi to set up camp. Each community settling in a distinct and unique area of the skin, which allows them to respectively thrive. Oh, and as a thank you for the free living, they provide a protective and critical effect on many of the innate systems of the body. For example, maintaining a relatively acidic environment on the surface of our skin, which happens to inhibit the growth of potential pathogen communities. How nice of them, right? But how deep do their tentacles of wisdom actually go? Well, a study which explored this very question found that skin microbes extend their reach all the way down to the subcutaneous fat layer, which may be just one of the ways they communicate with our immune system. Oh yeah, they do that too. Play a key immunomodulating role. Because even our skin microbes don't like an overactive immune system. Here's how they do it. During our journey out of the womb, our immune system begins their symbiotic partnership with the new resident microorganisms on our skin, ultimately working together to eliminate the effects of nefarious pathogens. Here, the skin microbiome does 2 main things to help the cause. First, beneficial communities grow and prosper, pushing out the chance for nefarious actors to flourish, very much like what happens in the gut. And second, they tune the innate and adaptive immune system, helping it recognize when there has been a disturbance in the force. And when this disturbance is identified, the immune system can take action and release things like antimicrobial peptides, such as cathelicidin, to help balance things back out. But Interestingly enough, our good microbes also help keep an overactive immune system in check, doing this by having the ability to inhibit the release of inflammatory compounds when the situation is unwarranted. You gotta love that yin-yang biological action. I mean, come on. Along with these already impressive functions, data suggests that these skin minions can also aid in wound healing, limit exposure to allergens, minimize oxidative damage, and keep our skin plump and moist. And I don't know where plump came from, it just felt right. I'm gonna have to look it up now. Hopefully it's nothing bad. Even showing potential to minimize the negative effects of harmful UV rays from the sun. However, this data is still new and emerging, so don't go challenge the sun to a skin staring contest anytime soon. Now, the most unsurprising, yet surprising skin minion fact may very well be its close connection to the ecosystem in the gut, something known as the gut-skin axis. And when you think about it, it really does make sense. The inner surface of the gut and the outer surface of the skin are both covered in epithelial cells, which have direct contact with the exogenous environment, aka they're both our barriers regulating entrance from the outside world. And guess what? Emerging evidence has identified a close connection between skin health and gut health, suggesting that anything damaging to the gut microbiome also likely influences what happens on our skin. And as we know from this deep dive here, we don't want any disruption in there. This connection seems to have wide-ranging multi-mechanistic reach, explaining why a lot of modern-day skin issues coincide with gut issues. I mean, what else would we expect from a complex organism like ourselves? These lines of communication, typically mediated by our gut microbes, have shown to have a vast influence on a number of cellular and metabolic processes, including degree of acne by its systemic effect on inflammation, oxidative stress, glycemic control, tissue lipid levels, pathogenic bacteria, levels of neuropeptides, and even mood-regulating neurotransmitters. Damn. Now, until this point, it has been thought that the skin microbiota of a healthy adult remains rather stable as we age, despite environmental changes. But it seems that may not be entirely true. In fact, our skin minions may actually have an effect on several aspects of how we age. Time for this new data. Skin minions and aging. Researchers out of Yukon and Jackson Laboratory sought to see if there were any telling changes in the skin, oral, and gut microbiomes of older adults compared to younger adults. And in doing so, observing if these changes could reveal any secrets into their potential role of influencing mechanisms of aging. I mean, come on. Microbes, aging, longevity. Can't get much better than this. Huh? Oh yeah. The sweat. Don't you think I forgot? To do this, they analyzed one group of older adults, 65 plus, who lived in a nursing home, one group of older adults, 65 plus, who lived on their own independently in the community, and a group of young, healthy adults, 18 to 55, who lived out there in the wild, in the elements, obviously on their own. Throughout this study, they collected skin, oral, and stool samples from all participants 3 times over the course of a month, documenting medical histories, conducting dietary and hygiene surveys, and assessing frailty in the process. Here, researchers used the wonderful gift of technology and ran advanced metagenomic sequencing, assessing a variety of microbiome characteristics, including species composition, stability, and diversity, to see if there could be any distinct differences connected to aging. So, what'd they find? Well, interestingly enough, researchers found that chronological age alone did not significantly associate with any of the characteristics that they assessed. However, there was one thing that stood out from the pack: the observation that the most dramatic differences were found in the skin microbiome and the relative abundance or presence of a number of bacteria species on the skin significantly correlated with frailty, which we know is one of the biggest longevity liabilities that we face as we age. So how'd all this go down? Well, it was found that the skin of older adults was enriched with clinically important, potentially pathogenic species, as well as antibiotic-resistant genes, notably seeing the substantial depletion of C. acnes at typically oily sites in older adults. And despite its name having acnes in it, this species has been shown to inhibit the colonization and infection of pathogens via secreted factors and the lowering of pH. And get this, they found that the skin microbiome, when compared to the more abundant oral and gut microbiomes, emerged as the primary reservoir for infection risk associated with frailty, making it a potential infiltration point for the conditions which further and rapidly impair human health span. And putting their hypothesis hat on, researchers suspect that age-related changes in skin physiology, such as follicular atrophy and decreased sebum production, may be some of the drivers resulting in this surprising finding. And although this study had a number of limitations, including relatively local environments, a somewhat already frail existing population, and a short time frame, it is nonetheless interesting and straight up eye-opening on how this ecosystem should not be ignored. Which brings us to the important discussion of how exactly do we keep our skin minions thriving? Nurturing your skin microbes. Just like everything else in this wonderful world of optimizing health and longevity, the best solutions are not only context dependent, but typically a mix of what to start doing, but also what to stop doing. And although your skin minions are not the tell-all, be-all, silver bullet of all things health and longevity, they've certainly solidified themselves as being another critical factor in this game of optimizing our pretty cool meat suit to the max, and thus should not and cannot be ignored. Because then you get sad minions, and no one likes sad minions. Just noticed I wore my yellow minion shirt. You know a minion's named Kevin as well. Yeah, hashtag winning. All right, enough is enough. Kevin, you promised a minion sweat munching story, and we want it. Okay, all right. Yeah, no, I promised. You got it. Right now, it is time. There are actually a number of cool things that happen to our skin and our skin microbes when we partake in the activities that make us sweat. First, activities like exercise or some form of heat stress dilate blood vessels and improve blood flow throughout the body. This improved blood flow helps carry nutrients up to the surface of the skin, improving the health of not only the tissue that make up the various layers, but likely our skin minions too. The next cool thing happens as a byproduct of the sweat itself, specifically sweat which is produced in the underarm and crotch area, our favorite areas. Unlike most sweat, which is just glorified salty water, sweat that is secreted in this area contains a cornucopia of compounds, including oils, fats, and proteins. And guess what? Our skin minions love the stuff, ironically saying thank you by producing compounds that make us smell. Can't win them all. Research has shown that these nutrients in sweat feed beneficial skin microbes such as S. hominins, which then actually protects our skin from things like inflammatory problems, things like eczema, dangerous infections, and staph virus. So one of the best things that you can do for your skin minions, and quite frankly your health, is sweat it out. There's your slightly disgusting yet pretty cool sweat skin minion fact. You're welcome. Next, we can't ignore the aforementioned gut-skin axis. Remember, everything's connected. So nurturing the minions in your gut is super important. And one of the main ways that we do this is through what we eat. Here are some things I like to consider when feeding my garden within. First, I aim to consume a cultured array of foods, prioritizing real whole nourishing ones and trying to switch it up. Variety is important. I look to add different fermented foods like natto, miso, pickles, sauerkraut, yogurt, kefir, and different fermented veggies. These are all good diversity promoting options. Prebiotics, or foods that are high in dietary fiber, are important as well. These are the foods that beneficial gut bugs love to ferment on and secrete those beneficial metabolites as a thank you. They don't call them fiber munchers for nothing. And as much as I can, I like to aim for organic, grass-fed, wild, free range, trying to keep the quality as high as possible. I have a full video right here breaking down probiotics versus prebiotics and how to keep your gut microbes healthy. We also talk about a number of tests to baseline your current gut situation, which can be super helpful. Now, on the flip side, data has shown that diets abundant in ultra-processed foods, aka the typical Western diet, are associated with a lower microbial diversity and an increased risk of chronic disease, which means longevity risk, making it not cool for biological school. And on the topic of being cool, you ain't cool unless you microdiverse. I think that was the line.
You ain't cool unless you pee your pants.
And as we break down here, not only does food matter, but getting out and about in the environment that we've evolved in for millions of years plays a big role in moving the diversity needle as well. And it's just another clear W for nature. Win for nature. With that, it is equally important to know what things hurt our skin minion army, and by association, hurt our health. One of the main ways we seem to self-inflict damage is in our use and overuse of modern products containing harsh chemicals. Think body care items, cleaning supplies, and sanitizing agents. Research has shown that the use of antimicrobial sanitizers and soaps can contribute to skin dysbiosis and antibiotic resistance, thus impacting and agitating several skin conditions. And guess what? An imbalanced microbiome or skin dysbiosis is also associated with many other health conditions, including psoriasis, allergies, eczema, contact dermatitis, acne, subpar wound healing, skin ulcers, dandruff, we're good, yeast and fungal infections, rosacea, and overall accelerated skin aging. Yeah, it's gonna be a pass for me. So aim to opt for all natural products. Don't wage war on your minions. Instead, create an environment for them to thrive. Because selfishly, when your good minions thrive, you thrive. And if you want a little extra help making both those things thrive, you can join our longevity challenges in Patreon, where we as a team implement longevity-focused sustainable change week by week, habit by habit, focusing on getting healthy from the inside out. If interested, all of the links for that will be in the description below. As I stated in the open, you are not alone. You have trillions of friends who depend on you, who need you, who care about you. And when you show them a little love, you likely extend everyone's odd chances and probability of a long, prosperous, healthy life to the very end. So help your microbes help you. I think I'm doing it.